And we back. Uploads have not been very consistent. I've been fucking busy as shit. But I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to get you guys a rebuild. I do think one of the reasons I'm uploading a little bit less is just, Madden's kind of dying. Madden 25 is going to be out in, a few months. And I don't know, Madden 24, we're just waiting on the new game. Not many people are that interested in Madden 24 anymore, including myself. But we're going to get out of this rebuild today anyways. I've had multiple people ask for this video. Let me go ahead and find out who that was real quick, actually. So big shout out to Derwin D3 and Stupid Crafter for suggesting this video. Stupid Crafter actually suggested it a while ago, and at the time I'd already had a Chargers rebuild. But now it's after the draft. Joe Alt was a top 5 draft pick. And this team looks a lot different from the last time we rebuilt it. So shout out to you two. We're getting what you wanted, and I'm sorry that it took so long. With that being said, if there's any specific team you'd like to see get rebuilt, or any rebuild challenge you'd like to see, make sure you comment that down below. And one last thing before we get into the video, make sure you press that subscribe button, because if you can send me a DM on Instagram of you being within the first 1,000 subscribers, you'll be entered to a giveaway for a free NFL jersey by the time we hit 1,000. We're a long ways away, so you have a pretty easy chance of, at least having a chance to win an NFL jersey for free. So make sure you subscribe, send it to me on Instagram. Also make sure you like the video so that this video gets pushed out to more people. But let's stop yapping and let's get this rebuild going. Now, I'm not super big on the Chargers. I never really have been. I am what some people would consider, there's a fucking bug flying around my face. I am what some people would consider a Justin Herbert hater. There was a long bit there. It really wasn't this year, but last year and a little, especially the year before, where people were ranking Justin Herbert above Joe Burrow. That shit was pissing me off. Justin Herbert's nowhere near Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow does have a better coach. I mean, he was working with Brandon Staley for a lot of his career, so we got to give him a little bit benefit of the doubt. And I don't think Justin Herbert's bad, don't get me wrong, but he's not on this elite level of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, those kind of players. I think he's definitely a tier below them, but he's definitely in the higher players of that tier, if that makes sense. I just think you can't be in that tier with no playoff wins. You're up 27-0 in your playoff game. I don't care how bad your coaching is, you can't lose that. And I mean, and that was with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Now we were going to have to watch him have Joshua Palmer, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and DJ Chark. We already saw Quentin Johnston. I don't think I need to say much. I don't think he's a terrible receiver, but I mean, in the NFL, you got to make catches and you got to make plays, and he wasn't doing it. Josh Palmer was actually a pretty good option for the Chargers last year, and I'm actually excited to see how Ladd McConkey will do. I think this would be a really good year for Justin Herbert to prove himself. We saw Patrick Mahomes go to the Super Bowl with, very little receiver talent on his team, so if Justin Herbert's that guy, he will be able to do it, especially with their new coach in Jim Harbaugh. Stole both of his brothers' running backs, got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Of course, they drafted Joe Alt, which I actually think was a really good pick. Easily the best tackle in the draft. May as well take him when you can at number 5. And another pick I really like is Junior Colson. Matching him back up with Jim Harbaugh. He played for him at Michigan. He's a very good middle linebacker. I'm pretty sure he's dealt with some pretty bad injury issues, which is why he kind of slipped in the draft. But I think if he can stay healthy, he's going to be a great option here. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, we have a really good pass rush group. It's just this team is just old. Derwin James isn't old, but he's aging. Same with Joey Bosa. Khalil Mack, fucking old. This D-line's terrible. We could play Tui Pelotu on the D-line. We'll have to see if we want to do that, but secondary sucks. Receivers suck. Interior O-line sucks. Tight end sucks. Got some work to do for this team. We probably won't do more than 5 years. If the team's just dog shit and we're not winning because of me, we'll go longer. But if I build a good team and we're not winning Super Bowls, that's going to be the end of the video. The main goal is just to turn this into a good roster. But there's not much else to be said. Let's get this rebuild started. I'll see you guys at the midseason of year 1. Hopefully this team can at least have 2 to 3 wins at the midseason. I think 3 and 4 would be a pretty fitting record for this team, especially considering the division we're playing in. It's really not the craziest division, but you got to play the Chiefs twice a year. So let's just see how we do. Let's get to the midseason. Also, the porn stash is gone. Here, let me get a close-up of it. Oh, I look like a baby. All right, and we are 1-5 at the midseason. Couple positives. We have a breakout receiver and quarterback, and that's about it. I guess another positive could be if we lose out, we could get the number 1 overall pick, which could be very helpful for the future of this rebuild. I'm hoping this breakout receiver, won't be DJ Chark or something. I'm really hoping that'll be Ladd McConkey. That would be huge for the team. Breakout quarterback, getting Justin Herbert up to X Factor would also be pretty huge. And we're going against the Bears. So this is a pretty good game for us to have a breakout for. But before we take a look at that, let's see what players we have ready to re-sign. And it looks like we don't have shit to re-sign. When you use these updated rosters, it really messes with the contracts and when you have to re-sign players, especially the rookies. I did go in and make sure the rookies all have 4 years on their deal. There's no option to give a 5th-year option for Joe Alt, so he won't have a 5th year, but they'll all be under contract for 4 years, and in the 5th year we'll have to re-sign all of them. But we'll re-sign Cameron Dicker, I guess. We'll give him 2 years, $6.4 million, which he takes, and then we will have the 5th year for Rashawn Slater at the end of the season. And then we'll quickly brief over the stats just to see really what the problem is around the team. Justin Herbert isn't playing great. I mean, decent completion percentage, but too many interceptions and not enough touchdowns. Gus Edwards isn't really playing great. It looks like J.K. Dobbins is doing slightly better as a backup, but it's definitely just because it's a smaller sample size. I could see us starting J.K. Dobbins pretty soon. We'll let Gus Edwards finish it out for the rest of the year, though. Quentin Johnston is actually the leading receiver with 380 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey with almost 350 yards and 2 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer not getting any love in the end zone, but at least Hayden Hurst is getting 2 touchdowns. We're going to have to replace him pretty soon. He's not going to be a long-term tight end for us. Joe Alt allowing 3 sacks so far. Definitely could be worse. I've seen him play a lot worse in this game. If you haven't seen my Fantasy Draft Super Bowl video, make sure you go check it out. It's actually it's kind of flopping, so please actually go watch it because But other than that, the O-line's actually playing really good. And then we'll just check the sacks on defense. Joey Bosa and Morgan Fox both with 2.5. 2 out of Khalil Mack. Honestly, I'd like to see more sacks than this, but again, it definitely could be worse. So let's go ahead and take a look at who this breakout receiver is going to be. It's probably going to be Quentin Johnston. I'd really like it to be Ladd McConkey, though. It is Quentin Johnston, but that's still huge. He could go up to superstar, which would actually be massive for this team. We need some of our receivers to be able to develop. And Justin Herbert getting this breakout would be honestly bigger. Him going up to X Factor, he could be within like a 95 overall within the next couple of years. I think I said that sentence wrong. He could be a 95 overall or higher within the next couple of years. But let's go ahead and sim to week 9 here, and let's see if either of these players hit their breakout. I'm hoping at least one of them can hit it. We did lose 27-20, so that's not looking very promising. Quentin Johnston did not hit his breakout. He's blaming the coach. And I mean, if we only dropped 20 points, I'm assuming Justin Herbert didn't hit his breakout either. Yeah, Justin Herbert also did not hit his breakout, so let's just get to the end of the season. Let's see how this team finishes off. At this point, I'd rather us finish 1-16 than like 7-10. If we're not going to make the playoffs, just give me a good draft pick. That's all I'm asking for. Let's get to the end of the year. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the second channel. It'll actually be in the description down below. It's mainly just a channel to post random shit on that I wouldn't post on this channel. I've been posting, Rainbow Six on there. Sometimes I'll post, regular NFL content, not Madden. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure you check it out. It'll be in the link in the description. You can't really see here because of my face cam. But we finished the season 4-13, only at the 24th offensive points per game. Passing offense was good in yards at least, and then every defensive category was insanely bad. But Justin Herbert actually did have a pretty good second half of the year. He finishes with 4,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with a 70% completion percentage. If you would have played the first half of the year like that, I was going to say we could be contending for a playoff spot, but we also went 4-13, so I don't think that's fair to say. Gus Edwards was actually pretty decent on the second half of the year as well. He finished with 1,000 yards, 4 per carry, 12 touchdowns. Not bad. Ladd McConkey was actually the leading receiver with 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Joshua Palmer gets 1,000 yards and a touchdown. Quentin Johnston, 880 yards and 6 touchdowns. Rashawn Slater didn't have a great year, neither did Joe Alt. Bradley Bozeman actually had a terrible year. We'll definitely try to replace him in this year's draft. Jamari Sawyer was alright, and Zion Johnson was actually pretty damn good. Junior Colson led the team in tackles with 133, 16 TFLs out of Joey Bosa, 14 out of Poona Ford, 13 out of Khalil Mack, and not many sacks on the year. 7 out of Khalil Mack, 5 out of Joey Bosa, and 3 out of Morgan Fox. That's kind of bad. 2 picks out of Derwin James, 2 out of Shit Still. Treeb Still with 2 interceptions. I don't know why his name is starred out. Whatever. 2 out of Asante Samuel, 1 out of Junior Colson, and 1 out of Denzel Perryman. We're definitely going to need some more sacks out of our defense if we want to see some success here in the future. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. No Chargers, unfortunately. Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC goes to Lamar Jackson. No Chargers here as well. Defensive Player of the Year goes to TJ Watt. No Chargers. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Ladd McConkey. That's huge. He's going to hit Superstar for that. If you haven't seen any of these videos already, the 2023 rookies are also going to be here just because there's no way to make them not a rookie in franchise. But second place goes to Keon Coleman. Brian Thomas is up here. Defensive Rookie of the Year also goes to Junior Colson. So we went Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. That is huge. That is 2 dev-ups, 1 on offense and 1 on defense. Very big. Jerzon Newton in second. Why is he on the... Dude. So the Commanders drafted Jerzon Newton, and they already have 2 good D tackles. So in Madden, they just cut them every year. Like, one time he went to the Cowboys and just kept winning, or he won Defensive Rookie of the Year and then was like a dog the rest of the time. So Jerzon Newton is now on the Bengals. Dream Still is up here, Laitu Latu's up here, Jarian Jones is up here. But honestly, for how bad we were this year, that is two very, very good things that happened in the awards. And we're going to have a good-ass draft pick. That was actually probably best case scenario for the first year, other than winning a Super Bowl. But the Ravens and the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, I swear to God, at the beginning of this year's Madden, it was always Cowboys Chiefs. Now it's always Cowboys Ravens. So fuck this game, dude. But the Ravens are the 2024 Super Bowl champions. We do have Rashawn Slater's fifth-year option here for $19 million. We'll go ahead and pick that up. And then we're going to hop into free agency. Free agency is normally a little underwhelming in this first year. It's almost kind of like a fantasy draft free agency whenever you use these updated roster just because of how weird the contracts are. Sometimes you'll have a couple big names in here. David Bakhtiari, Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper actually wouldn't be a terrible signing, but he's wanting $20 million a year, has 3 teams interested, and has no interest in playing for us. I wouldn't hate going for Xavier Howard as well. Our secondary is a little bit weak. However, I just don't think we're in the spot to sign any veterans to the team whenever we're still having to develop and, already kind of in the sketchy area with money. We're only going to go for one player in this year's free agency, and it's going to be Rashid Shaheed. One of the only young players that I think we're able to get. He's no teams interested as of right now. We'll send this offer through a couple of times, and he hasn't taken it yet, but he has no teams interested, so by the time we send him to the draft, he hopefully should be on the team and a part of the receiving core. We really don't need him because we do have Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnston, but I think he could slip into the receiving core pretty well. So let's send him to the draft here. Let's see if we get Rashid Shaheed, and then we'll hop into the draft where we should have like a top 3 pick. Okay, and we actually have the number 1 overall pick. It has us taking a tight end, Philip Otten, who actually looks pretty good. I did use one of my focus players on him. Elite jumping, change of direction, agility, excel with great speed, A run block with marginal strength, but A short route, A spec catch, A awareness, A carrying, A catching, A deep route. He actually looks really nasty. Am I going to use the number 1 overall pick on a tight end? No. Am I going to trade the first overall pick is the real question here. There was actually a really nasty running back I saw at number 13. He's projected to go to the Raiders. Johnny Campbell's 21 years old. Elite strength is really only his good physical. However, he has A to B awareness, B ball carrier vision, A break tackle and carrying, A trucking and stiff arm. I don't think I'll use my first round pick on a running back either. I don't think that'll do much for the team. I would rather go with like a D tackle or something along those lines. And honestly, my favorite one so far is probably Marco Ware. He is 23 years old. However, he has elite strength, A play rec, B power moves, block shedding, awareness, and his finesse moves are a little low, but the good combination of power moves and block shedding is really what I like to look for in my D tackles. If he did have high finesse moves, I would take him with the number 1 overall pick probably, but I really like my D tackles to have good block shedding, and even though he's 23, I think he's going to be a good pick, and he's projected to go to the Colts here, so I'm thinking we're going to trade down to 17 with the Dolphins, try to get a few extra picks. We could actually get a fuck ton out of this first overall pick here from the Dolphins, so let's trade it to the Dolphins. They're probably going to end up taking that tight end, and I'm not interested in taking a tight end with the number 1 overall pick, so they can have it for all I care, and we're about to get a lot of extra picks here for the future. Wow, I did not expect that to go through. We get the Dolphins' first and second round pick for the next 3 years. Okay, that might be a little unrealistic. It's not like they're trading up for a quarterback or anything. If it was that case, I wouldn't feel bad about this, but this is slightly unrealistic, and that kind of feel a little bad because that might make this rebuild too easy. But I didn't expect it to go through. I just tried to like highball it so I could like know what to work for, but whatever. We have so many draft picks now. That is crazy. But yeah, let's just go ahead and hop into the draft. Hopefully that D tackle is available for us here in the first round. I actually do want to see who the Dolphins take with this first overall pick, and they actually take a right tackle. See, like, I really hope like Madden figures out how to fix that. If a team's trading up to number 1, it should factor in what they're trading up for, because teams in franchise always take like, especially D ends. It's always a D end or an offensive tackle, and they always take them number 1 overall. Like, no team would ever trade 3 firsts and 3 seconds to trade up to 1 and draft a tackle. Just a little bit of a rant. Let's get this pick out of the way. And Marco Ware actually is still available. There is a round 1 to 2 talent D tackle in Joey Phillips. He's only 21. Great strength, great excel. B power moves, A pursuit, A hit power. It's just the block shedding that gets me. He does look like he could be slightly better than Marco Ware, But block shedding is so important in your tight ends, and Marco Ware has elite strength. He's 301 pounds. I think this is who we're going to take. I'm just praying he has hidden dev, which he does. He also has 94 strength paired with 83 acceleration, and he's fucking huge. So I think that's a good pick right there. And now we have 2 picks in the second round. One of them is first overall. We could cheese this a little bit. I know if we traded this pick away, we could get an extra first rounder for next year. But I want to take a look at the draft board first, see if there's anybody we could grab. A lot of quarterbacks left. Ooh, this guy looks nasty. Tim Benson is only 21 years old. Only good speed. He has elite change of direction, elite excel. A press, A to C man, B zone coverage. Awareness is a little bit low, but he has A block shedding. Kind of looks like he's a little bit good at everything. A to C hit power. I actually think we're going to go with Tim Benson here. I think he has a good chance to have hidden dev, and our secondary is already really weak. So Tim Benson, welcome to the Chargers. Another hidden dev, 91 speed, 94 excel, and 95 change of direction. He's also 6'2". That guy's a stud. 2 good picks. With this next pick in the second round, I really want to try to work on this interior line. Our interior line is really bad as of right now, so I'm definitely thinking of taking a guard or a center. And I think we may have found our guy. Nate Swinton, B awareness, A impact blocking, A lead block. Not the best finesse, but he is a guard, so I'm not too worried about it. And it's only his pass block finesse. His run block finesse is actually an A to C, which I actually kind of like. He is also only 21 years old and has great strength, so I think Nate Swinton's going to be the pick here. Welcome to the Chargers, another hidden dev, 90 strength, 336 pounds. We got ourselves a new interior offensive lineman. And then we'll make this third round pick, and that'll probably be the final pick we make this draft, and then we'll let the CPU take the rest. There's a small part of me that is considering taking this running back, Eric Peak. He does not look great, but if he could have a dev trait, we could make him the backup, and I think he could progress pretty fast and be a running back of the future. The only problem is if he doesn't have a dev trait, it's a little bit of a throwaway pick. He's only 21 years old. He has elite change of direction. B spin move, A ball carrier vision, B carrying. I just feel like it's a bit of a throwaway pick. I think we're better off waiting until later down the road where we could just sign a good running back out of free agency, and we could go with somebody like James Ramsey instead, who doesn't look insane, but he looks good enough, and I think it's a better pick than the running back. So we're actually going to go with James Ramsey instead. He has hidden dev, 86 strength, 315 pounds. We drafted 2 good interior offensive linemen, drafted a good D tackle, drafted a corner. I would say this draft was very successful. We'll let the CPU have the rest. We'll get to the draft recap. And that is a successful draft in my book. 23-year-old D tackle, 77 overall hidden dev. 21-year-old corner, 78 overall hidden dev. We got a 73 overall left guard, 74 overall center. The CPU actually ended up taking a running back. It's almost like the game's listening to me. A 76 overall, and he has hidden dev. So great pick by the CPU. I don't even think that's the guy that we were looking at. And then the rest of the picks by the CPU weren't great. I'm curious to see what overall that tight end was. I'm not too concerned about the rest of the NFL's draft, and he was actually only a 79, so definitely would have been a waste of a pick in the first overall. Johnny Campbell was one of the guys we were looking at. He ended up being an 80 overall, so that wouldn't have been a bad pick in the first round, but I like the approach we took better. We got hella picks from the Dolphins, and we got a good-ass draft, so I am not upset at all. Okay, can we talk about how the Raiders drafted 2 running backs, both over 78 overall? This game's so fucking stupid. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the drugs won't hurt me. The drugs won't hurt me. And here's how the offense looks going into year 2. I'm actually very happy with how the offense looks. Justin Herbert's up to a 90 overall. We added some depth to the O-line. We actually have 2 new starters. Tight end still is a little bit weak. Receiving core still slightly weak, but we had a Rashid Shaheed. Joshua Palmer's up to an 81. Quentin Johnston's up to a 76. So even if we end up losing one of these guys, we have a lot of depth at receiver. And then I think we're going to make Duke the backup over J.K. Dobbins. Gus Edwards finished the year pretty good, so I think we can give him another year as a starter, at least the first half of the year. If he's not very good, I think we're going to start Duke the rest of the year. And then here's how the defense looks. Junior Colson up to superstar for winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. Khalil Mack actually somehow went up to X Factor. He had a very underwhelming year. I'm not sure how that happened, but not going to complain about it. Added Ware to the D-line through the draft. We're going to move Tui Pelotu down to the D-line as well. Benson in the draft as well. He's up to an 80 overall with morale as a rookie corner, so the defense looks a lot better than the beginning of last year. I think once we can upgrade a little bit at safety, which the CPU did draft a hidden dev safety, and maybe 1 linebacker next to Junior Colson, this team is actually looking pretty good for the future. If we could have a pretty successful year here, get some morale building, we're in for a good year. I really think the biggest hole as of right now is going to be tight end and probably running back. It doesn't look like a big problem, but if you've played franchise before, if you don't really have a running back in the 90 overall range, it really just messes up your whole team. But I still think this team has a bright future. With all that being said, we are ready for year 2. Let's get to the midseason and let's see how the team's doing. Also, I normally wear a jersey for the videos, but I don't have a Charger jersey yet, so Wonder what player I'll get. But we are 3-4 this midseason. I'll definitely take that over 1-5. I think we were last midseason. The Raiders are 7-0, which is very interesting. But I mean, ooh, our offense is not doing very good this year. I think we're due for a playbook change. I think I'm running the Rams right now. That's normally one of my favorites to run, but it's clearly not working here. We also have the 27th offense in rush yards per game, so that's definitely not helping us. But defense looks like it's doing pretty good so far. Justin Herbert's just not playing very great. Too many interceptions, not enough touchdowns. Gus Edwards isn't doing great. I actually think we are going to start Duke for the rest of the year. I don't think he's going to play as good as Gus Edwards, but I think he's going to play pretty comparable, and he's going to develop faster. So we're actually going to start Duke the rest of the year, most likely. Rashid Shaheed is actually the leading receiver in his first year here. He also has 5 touchdowns. If he could finish the year like this, he could go up to star dev, which would be huge for the team. O-line's actually doing really good so far this year. Joe also not playing great, but outside of him, we only have 2 sacks allowed. And then are we at least getting to the quarterback this year? It looks like we are. 5 sacks out of Khalil Mack, 5 out of Joey Bosa, even have 2 out of Tui Pelotu. I'll definitely take that. Just got to figure out which offensive playbook I want to use. I don't want to use the Chiefs. I really don't want Hayden Hurst getting all of our, receiving yards. We're going to go with the Bengals. That playbooks tend to work for me pretty well. So we'll try that out for now. If we get a good tight end, I will gladly switch to the Chiefs playbook, but I'm just not going to do it now. And 4 re-signings here at the midseason, we have Asante Samuel, Joshua Palmer, Khalil Mack, and not too many big names outside of those guys. We have $47 million to bring him back, so let's get it done. Asante Samuel's only 24 years old, already an 86 overall. We'll give him a 5-year, $67 million deal, which he does take. Joshua Palmer, we have a lot of depth at receiver, and this is just a lot of money for an 81 overall. We'll consider bringing him back at the end of the year, depending on how he plays, but I actually don't really think we will bring him back. And then Khalil Mack, we're also going to hold off on the end of the year, just because he should regress a little bit by the end of then, want a little bit less money, especially because he's not interested right now. He's going to want to be overpaid. Then we'll have the 5th year for Zion Johnson at the end of the year, which we will probably pick up because if it stays that cheap, that's a steal. But yeah, not the worst start to the year. We could sneak into the playoffs here. I do want to make sure we start our rookie running back for the rest of the year over Gus Edwards. Already up to a 78 overall. Gus Edwards is down to a 78 overall, so I think this is going to be the right move. He's going to develop a lot faster. Let's get to the end of the season. Let's see how this team finishes out. We finished year 2 6-11, only 2 wins better than last year. I actually expected a lot better than that. Offense wasn't very good. Defense honestly wasn't that good the second half of the year either. Yikes. Justin Herbert was okay. It's just like not enough touchdowns, honestly. 3,800 yards, 20 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Marcus Duke was pretty dog shit as a starting running back. This is a pretty small sample size, but I mean, when Justin Herbert's averaging more yards per carry than you, that says a lot. Although, I guess quarterbacks probably do average a pretty big amount of yards per carry just because normally when they're running, whatever. But Marcus Duke at least got 9 touchdowns. I guess that's positive. Rashid Shaheed, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. I think he could go up to star dev for this, which would be pretty huge. Ladd McConkey with another 1,000-yard year, 5 touchdowns for him. Joe Alt wasn't great. Rashawn Slater wasn't great. The rest of the O-line was pretty decent. Junior Colson with 126 tackles leads the team. 19 TFLs out of Marco Ware, 16 out of Khalil Mack, 13 out of David Henley, and 10 out of Joey Bosa. 11.5 sacks out of Khalil Mack. That's going to make it hard not to re-sign him, but we got 10.5 out of Joey Bosa, 6 out of Tui Pelotu. 3 picks out of Derwin James, 3 out of Asante Samuel, 2 out of Diane Henley, and 1 out of Tim Benson. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. That's great. Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC goes to Derrick Henry. No Chargers. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Hassan Reddick. Khalil Mack at number 9. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Duncan O'Neal for the Raiders. I don't even know if that was one of their running backs. Did they have that crazy of a draft? But Marcus Duke at number 5. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Stacey Sharp for the Broncos. Oh, look at that. Division rival wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, division rival wins Defensive Rookie of the Year, and a division rival won MVP. Yes. 3rd place goes to Marco Ware, 4th goes to Tim Benson. So not a very successful year to say the least. This is looking like one of those rebuilds that's gonna start to piss me off. And the Ravens and the Niners go to the Super Bowl this year. The Niners come out on top. So I do think we're gonna let Joshua Palmer go. He wasn't the leading receiver. I don't even know if he was in the top 3. Rashid Shaheed was better. Ladd McConkey was better. We're not going to pay him this much. We'll pick up the 5th year for Zion Johnson. It's only $7.4 million. Khalil Mack isn't asking for much money, but he's still not interested. If he takes 1 year 13, I will give it to him, and he does take it. So I guess that's pretty big. We'll probably draft a pass rusher this year just to, be prepared for losing Khalil Mack. That'll probably be all the re-signings we make. We'll go ahead and bring back J.K. Scott just, so we have a punter. And then we'll get into free agency. I'm hoping we can have, a nasty tight end in free agency. Maybe a nasty D lineman to help out this defense. Just, one, good player we could add. Dude, a tight end would be huge here. I think that's what could get us over the edge, honestly. Wow, that is tempting. We just already have good receivers. I mean, Quentin Johnston isn't that good. This could be really big for the team because it's not like we really need any of the rest of these guys. And none of them are interested except for the best one. 15 teams interested. Wow. And even with the base offer, we get tied for the top offers. On my fucking life, I did not press the left stick. I know what I did. I have an elite controller. This is the left stick, and I squeezed it. I was going to give him I'm going to pray that restarting my game undoes what I just did, because that actually pissed me off. Turn into a whole different person. Drive my whip. Crash my whip off the drugs I'm swerving. And it didn't work. Now I'm really frustrated, bro. That would have been... So you don't understand how big that would have been for the team, bro. Like, why is there no way to go back in time? Where's my phone? I'm depressed. Okay, that just killed my whole fucking mood. Let me stop being a baby. It's just a fucking video game. So we have the 6th and the 9th overall pick. We could take this pass rusher with the 6th overall pick and trade the 9th and probably get a pretty damn good receiver. I don't think we have pretty decent receivers, but they're not good enough. I think we could replace Quentin Johnston pretty easily. Let's see what we can... Actually, let's start the draft first. Let's make sure we can get this pass rusher with the 6th overall pick. And then I wonder if we could get maybe not somebody on Brandon Ayuk's level, but somebody pretty close to Brandon Ayuk's level with the 9th overall pick. Because I know I said we could trade for a tight end. That's actually not a bad idea. But let's focus on this. Jacob Frost is still here. No need to look at the other guys. He's the best one. Let's just see what we can get out of this first round pick, bro. I'm pissed off. We're giving up a first and a second round pick for Devontae Smith. He is on the last year of his deal, which he technically shouldn't be because they re-signed him this year, but that's just something we got to deal with. And we have the extra picks to do so. We're going to trade for Devontae Smith. Maybe we can draft a tight end here in the second round. Oh, God. I'm like actually so upset we didn't get Brandon Ayuk because we could have still had those picks, gotten Brandon Ayuk, traded those picks for a tight end, and I just sold, bro. I pressed the fucking wrong button. It's actually a pretty good vertical threat tight end here. 22 out of Virginia Tech. Great strength, elite speed, A, catching traffic, A, deep route, B, short route, A, awareness. This guy's definitely going to have normal dev. But fuck it, we ball. Nick Hines, welcome to the Chargers. I fucking knew it. Early round tight ends always suck balls, but here's what's going to happen. He's going to be the starter. We're going to run the Chiefs playbook. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's going to be X Factor by the end of the video. Just trust the process. There's literally nobody I'm interested in with this third round pick. I don't know. Let's see if anybody wants it. Eagles are going to give us a second for next year and a 6 as well. Let's just take it. And yeah, the CPU can have the rest of the draft. Let's just get to the draft recap. If you can't tell, not getting Brandon Ayuk there actually set me over the edge. Honestly, though, I have had a full green offer for players in the past that were fully interested in the team and been the only one with a full green offer and they didn't sign with us. So maybe the game was just saving me from getting really pissed off at that happening. But I mean, the part that really sucks is we could have at least gone for somebody else, but we weren't able to because I accidentally pressed the left stick. Let me stop talking about it. Let me shut the... Jacob Frost actually isn't terrible. Nick Hines is only a 74. Not the best draft to say the least, but we got Devontae Smith. Fuck it, we ball. That's good enough with me. So Rashid Shaheed actually did go up to star last year, which is pretty big for the team. We're going to start Duke again at running back. Hopefully next year in free agency, there's just a nasty running back left. We will have to re-sign Devontae Smith this year, which is unfortunate, but I think we can make it work. And then the defense, oh my God, where has X Factor? How did I not notice that? Holy fuck. I think we got to move forward to DN just to kind of make this D-line look better. Could you imagine having a kid and naming him Puna? I don't know. We're just going to have to see how this team can do. I think this team's pretty good. It definitely could be a little bit better, but I mean, I don't know. I think we're good enough. I think we could sneak into the playoffs this year. We got to run the Chiefs offensive playbook so that our tight end will start developing like crazy. I think we could get this guy to superstar by the end of this year. I shit you not. Did I for real just say I shit you not? Sterling Shepard just went to the Buccaneers. That's pretty cool. OU legend, playing with OU legend. I think the team's ready. Let's get to the midseason. Let's see how we're doing. My guess is we are going to be 4-3 at the midseason. We're going to be 11-6 at the end of the season. We're going to make the playoffs. Watch it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but the drugs won't hurt me. The drugs won't hurt me. And would you look at that? We are 4-3 at the midseason. Offense is doing pretty fucking good. Defense is doing pretty fucking good. It's about damn time. Justin Herbert actually with a pretty good touchdown interception ratio at the midseason, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a great completion percentage. Marcus Duke fucking sucks, dude. We're switching to J.K. Dobbins. I don't even care. I don't care if Duke is a second year and he's gonna progress fast. I don't care. That I can't do it. Devontae Smith is averaging 71 yards per game. He has 500 yards and 3 touchdowns so far throughout the season. For a second, I thought this was like Nyheim Hines, and I was so confused. But Nick Hines is actually doing great as a rookie, 400 yards, averaging 58 per game and 5 touchdowns. And O-line's actually holding up very great so far this year. And how is the pass? Oh my god, Joey Bosa already has 8.5 sacks. Okay, wow. Holy shit. Now, we're going to get into these re-signings. We have 17 players ready to negotiate, only $48 million. If there's not too many big... Actually, let me just see who we have here first. Devontae Smith, Rashawn Slater, Joey... Alright, we may not be able to do what I was planning. Wait, it says we have $114 million now. Okay, never mind. We may be able to do it, but let's just get this out of the way first. Devontae Smith, I will gladly pay you a lot of money. We're going to give you 5 years, $113 million, and he resigns. It's perfect. Rashawn Slater, we'll give you 3 years, $65 million. He also resigns. Joey Bosa is having a great year so far. Do I want to resign him right now, though? He is 30. Actually, I think he's going to go up to X Factor by the end of the year, so we're actually going to resign him now. I want to see if we can get him for only 3 years. Maybe $74 million is enough. And he is excited to stay with the team. J.K. Dobbins, I'm not too worried about re-signing, neither with the rest of these guys. Now, I do have a plan to get us to the playoffs this year. We are giving up a haul of draft picks, a first rounder, 2 second rounders, which, by the way, we will still have a first and second in the draft, a third rounder from next year, a 4th round pick, and a 4th rounder from next year. And we're getting Jonathan Taylor. Trust the process. We're also going to trade J.K. Dobbins real quick, get some extra draft picks just because we just lost a few. I think we could get like a 3rd rounder out of him real quick. Jonathan Taylor has 2 years left on his deal, but like I said, having a running back is just too important in franchise to not make this move now. Let's get some extra draft picks out of J.K. Dobbins. Let's see what team wants them. Bills and the Panthers. The Panthers normally have some money. And bam, we turn J.K. Dobbins to a 3rd rounder. We have Jonathan Taylor now. Like, I was about to say I shit you not again. Why my camera was so fucked up? But yeah, no, we're making the playoffs this year. Like, I'm not going to let anything else get in the way. Jonathan Taylor is a LA Charger. This offense is too good now not to make the playoffs. Bam. Devontae Smith, Rashid Shaheed, Lad McConkey, Justin Herbert, Jonathan Taylor, beautiful O-line. Our rookie tight end who's playing great, who is going to be superstar by the end of the year. I promise. He's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and he's going to go straight up to Superstar. And even if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, next year is the year. I promise. I promise. But yeah, let's get to the end of the year. Let's just, hey, I'm going to put it into the universe. Let's go play our first playoff game of the video. I will say I was pretty close to my prediction for this year. I predicted us to be 4-3 at the midseason and 11-6 at the end of the year. We were 4-3 at the midseason. We're 10-7 at the end of the year. And we are in the playoffs. 2nd offensive points per game. 5th offensive pass yards per game, 23rd in offensive rush yards per game. That's probably just because we didn't have Jonathan Taylor the whole year. And defense was actually surprisingly bad in the second half of the year, but hey, our offense is the powerhouse now. Justin Herbert with a great year, 4,400 yards, 36 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor with a beautiful year, 1,400 yards, 5.2 per carry, 17 touchdowns. Remember, all these rushing yards weren't for us, but still insane. Devontae Smith, great first year for the Chargers, 1,200 yards, 75 per game, 12 touchdowns. Nick Hines with 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns as a rookie. That should be Offensive Rookie of the Year. That should be Offensive Rookie of the Year numbers. Rashid Shaheed was good, so was Lad McConkey. Rashawn Slater wasn't great. Zion Johnson wasn't great. Joe Alt was really good. James Ramsey was pretty bad. And Nate Swinton was actually pretty good. Junior Colson led the team in tackles again with 138. 17 TFLs and a Marco Ware. 14 out of Joey Bosa. We'll address that in a second. 12 out of Khalil Mack. 11 out of Tui Pelotu. I always like that when I say that name. 19.5 sacks out of Joey Bosa. If he doesn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to... 9 sacks out of Khalil Mack. 8 out of Tui Pelotu. 3 picks out of Alohi Gilman. 1 out of Junior Colson. 1 out of Diane Henley. 1 out of Tim Benson. 1 out of Terman Still, I believe is his name. I always forget it just because of the fucking asterisks. Get off my dick. 1 out of Derwin James and 1 out of Asante Samuel. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. Yay! Came in 7th with Justin Herbert. Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC goes to Isaiah Pacheco. We come in 2nd to a division rival. Happens every fucking video. Whatever. Cry. Wah, wah. 10th place goes to Devontae Smith. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Greg Rousseau. At least it's not a division rival. Wait, why didn't... I said if Joey Bosa... Joey Bosa comes in 3rd with 19.5 sacks. No other Chargers. Offense Rookie of the Year goes to Nick Hines. I called it. When he's superstar at the end of the year, you guys all got to give me some dome. No other Chargers. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Russell Davis, another division rival winning an award. And no Chargers. I don't even really know if we had any starting rookies on defense. I think our first round pick at normal Devin didn't play, but we have a playoff game to get into. We have a first of many scenario because we are finally in the playoffs 3 years into the rebuild. I accidentally pressed guarantee win. That wasn't the plan, but fuck it, dude. Oh, and they're gonna have +5 break tackle and hit power. That's great. I wonder who's gonna win this game. Let's just send to the divisional. Let's see if we can get a win here over the Jaguars. They are one higher overall than us, and they have home field advantage. And they beat us by 2 touchdowns, bro. Like, why'd I have to press guarantee win, bro? I didn't mean to. And the Ravens have made the Super Bowl for the 3rd straight year. They win this year over the 49ers. I believe they played the 49ers last year as well. And after the season, Nick Hines is up to superstar. I called it, and I'm a genius. Devontae Smith up to X Factor. Jonathan Taylor up to X Factor. Justin Herbert up to X Factor. That is beautiful. Joey Bosa up to X Factor. Junior Colson up to X Factor. Ware already had X Factor. We're going to lose Khalil Mack this year, most likely. We can draft a new edge rusher, but we could also start Frost. We'll have to see what we want to do there. But honestly, we're looking pretty good. We couldn't just move Tui Pelotu back up to the edge. He played pretty good this year, and he wasn't even really a starter, so yeah, who knows? Maybe there will be somebody in free agency that we can replace Khalil Mack with. Or we just re-sign him. I mean, he wasn't that bad. He has X Factor still. We'll see how much money he wants. We're not going to pick up the 5th year for Quentin Johnson. That's way too much money for somebody who's not even playing. We will re-sign Alohi Gilman. He's up to star dev. He's an 85 overall. We'll give him 3 years, $29 million, which he does take. And then I think we're going to let Khalil Mack hit free agency. There's a chance we bring him back in free agency. I don't think anybody's going to be really interested in him anyway. We'll let Poona Ford hit free agency. We'll let Hayden Hurst go. We'll re-sign Cameron Dicker again. And we're actually going to have some money to work with here in free agency. Maybe we could get somebody better than Khalil Mack. And if we do, like, every spot of our team is filled out. So let's hop to free agency. Show me, like, Micah Parsons or some shit, and I'll fucking come. No Micah Parsons. Is there any edge rushers? Jalen Phillips is just so dog in this game. 7 sacks last year, 3, 4.5, 7, 8. Yeah. We're not signing Jalen Phillips. Looks like we may have to draft an edge rusher. We could check out Odafe Always been doing. Not much better. Dallas Turner technically should not be in free agency. However, there is 4 other teams interested in him. So, is it really? Ooh, this would be huge. All right, trust the process here. I don't care that this isn't how this is supposed to work. We're doing it anyway. We are going for Jordan Davis and Dallas Turner in free agency. They're both heavily interested. We got the top offer for both. Let's send these offers through, and that is some big pieces we just added to this defense. We still have a 1st and 2nd rounder. I think we have 2 3rd rounders to work with in the draft, and I don't even know what we're going to draft. This is crazy. Wait to meet you. So join the animatronic family. We open real soon. Question of the day. What do we use our draft pick on? O-line is decked out. We got our tight end. Receiving quarters decked out. Quarterback and running back decked out. Pass rushers decked out. Could use a middle linebacker. We're going to move Ware over to left end, and we're going to have Jordan Davis playing in the middle. Actually, I think we'll switch. No, we're going to have Ware playing on the left end. We'll leave Tui Pelotu right here. I guess we draft a middle linebacker. And then with the next pick, we just go with whoever looks the best regardless of position. I guess that's the play. Let's hop into the draft here. Let's see what we can do to make this team better somehow. And if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, that we may cut off the rebuild. I don't see the team getting much better than it is now. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. If we get really close, I might have to do another year. So all the off-ball linebackers are projected to go in the later rounds. So let's trade this pick away. We'll get some extra picks for next year in case we do end up doing another year. This one gets us a 1st rounder for next year, a 2nd for 28. This one gets us a 1st and a 2nd for this year. We're going to trade with the Colts. We'll have an extra 1st rounder for next year. We'll have an extra 2nd rounder this year. So with the 1st, 2nd rounder, we're just going to kind of pick the best player on the board. We're not going to, reach for some linebacker that we don't need. We're just going to look outside of positional value, just try to find a stud. Jacoby Hill looks pretty good, 22 years old, out of Texas. Solids all across the board on his physicals. He really doesn't look that good. Dude, this draft sucks. Maybe it's me, but these guys just don't look that good. We're just going to go with a center. We're going to go with Travis Lehman, I believe. Doesn't look crazy, but he looks pretty good. I don't know. I think he'll have a dev trade at least, which he does. 85 strength as well. And then we'll take a linebacker here with the next pick in the second round. And then honestly, I think I'll let the CPU have the rest because I just don't like this draft very much. But look at this linebacker, Tommy Brooks. He is 23 years old, but he has elite jumping, elite agility, elite excel, A zone coverage, B tackle, A pursuit, B play rec, A to C man coverage. What else can we look for? Let's go with Tommy Brooks. God. I think we're going to make our third round pick actually we're just going to draft a middle linebacker, see if we can get one with hidden dev instead of that guy. And then that'll be the end of this draft. And I like Devontae Winters, 22 out of Louisville. Not the craziest physicals, but I mean, his coverages are decent. He also has A block shedding, hit power. He also has B pursuit, Fug it, and he has hidden dev. We'll see the difference in the overalls. If that guy's pretty close up there, we'll just start him at middle linebacker just for the hell of it. And he could win Defensive Rookie of the Year somehow and, you know, get a dev up. Because I feel like linebacker is one of the easiest positions to win Defensive Rookie of the Year as, just because Madden factors tackles is a really big part of your stats, even though it's really not that crazy. You know, tackles is a heavily overrated stat, but in Madden, it's like the most important stat apparently. Not the worst draft. It looks like the middle linebacker actually is 3 overalls higher. And Travis Lehman's a 73 overall. Fuck it. And I'd say the team's pretty much complete. I mean, the backfield is crazy. The receiving group is crazy. The O-line is crazy. We got a new young tight end. The D-line looks pretty crazy. The pass rush group is crazy. Our linebackers are crazy. Our secondary is crazy. I mean, what else can we do up to this point? This is probably going to be the final year of the rebuild. Let's set the season goal to win the Super Bowl. And I honestly think I'm just going to see you guys straight at the end of the year. Hopefully we are at least in the playoffs. Let's just see what happens. And we finished year 4, 11-6. We are in the playoffs. We did not win the division, but I'll take 11-6. We had a pretty good offense. Our rush yards per game were still not very good. I'm assuming that's just because we're not giving Jonathan Taylor that many carries and not because he's playing bad. Defense was pretty good in points per game, but pretty bad in yards. Justin Herbert was 3rd in the NFL in passing yards with 4,300. 36-3 touchdown interception ratio is crazy. This will be an MVP season in real life. Quarterbacks are just crazy in franchise. And yeah, Jonathan Taylor averaged 4.5 yards per carry, 1,100 yards, and 18 touchdowns. He definitely wasn't the problem. He's just not getting touches. And we got 1,500 yards out of Devontae Smith, 8 touchdowns. Nick Hines with 900 yards and 13 touchdowns. O-line was pretty bad, actually. I was going to say pretty decent, but I mean, 8 sacks from center's not good. Rashawn Slater wasn't very good. Everybody else was pretty decent. Junior Colson led the team in tackles again, 115. 19 TFLs out of Dallas Turner, 17 out of Marco Ware, 10 out of Jordan Davis. 14 sacks out of Joey Bosa, 10.5 out of Dallas Turner, 3 out of Tui Pelotu. 4 picks out of Derwin James, 3 out of Tim Benson, 3 out of Asante Samuel, 1 out of Junior Colson, 1 out of Cho Smith-Wade, 1 out of Cam Hart, and 1 out of Alohi Gilman. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes. We came in 4th with those numbers. That is just insane. Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC goes to Isaiah Pacheco. 5th place goes to Jonathan Taylor. 10th goes to Justin Herbert. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Max Crosby. So far, division rivals have wiped the awards if you haven't noticed yet. 5th place goes to Dallas Turner. 7th place goes to Joey Bosa. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Eric Rhodes for the Bengals. No Chargers. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Gabe Wall for the Browns. And no Chargers. But, I mean, our draft wasn't very crazy anyways. Let's just get past this playoff game. We're taking on the Bills. We are 2 overalls higher than them, won 2 more games. I'm sorry, I don't know math. Won 3 more games. I think they won their division at 8-9. They should have home field advantage here, but we're just simply a better team. Let's just send to the divisional. If we lose this game, I'm going to be pissed off. All right, and we kind of whooped some ass. We won 35-10. Taking on the 92 overall Ravens in the divisional round. They had a crazy offense. They had a crazy defense. I mean, look at these rankings. They were 4th in offensive rank, 10th in passing touchdowns, 2nd in rushing touchdowns. God damn, they were number 1 in the least amount of giveaways. And then defense, they were 4th in allowed touchdowns, 2nd in red zone percentage. That is just crazy. Let's just sim to the AFC Championship. I don't think we're going to win this game, but fuck it. And we actually kept it within a touchdown. I would love to do another year, but I mean, realistically, I don't see much of a point. I mean, I don't think we're going to get to a point where we're 92 overall unless we go for a few more years, especially just because of how much talent is on this team. It's going to be really hard to keep it together, especially when it's only the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Niners making the Super Bowl. There's only so much you can do, but this was the finishing team. I really, once again, don't think we could have gotten much better than this unless we completely blew up the team. Keep in mind, even with all the star power on our team and all the money we could technically lose, which I even think we could bring everybody back with restructuring contracts, we still have multiple first rounders next year and all the rest of our picks. We have 4 X factors on offense, 2 superstars with an 88 overall offense. And then on defense, we also have 4 X factors and 2 superstars and an 89 overall defense. This team is beautiful. It's still pretty young as well. I think this team has a bright future, but I don't want this video to be longer than it needs to be, so that's unfortunately going to be the end. I still hope you guys enjoyed the rebuild. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get the Super Bowl for you guys. I think we only got one playoff win the whole video, which just goes to show Madden franchise can suck my balls. They just glaze the I was about to say the Patriots. They just glaze the Chiefs, glaze the Ravens, glaze the Cowboys, glaze 49ers. If you're not one of those teams, you're kind of fucked. But thank you guys for watching. Check out the second channel. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. And if you are subscribed, send it to me on Instagram so you can have a chance of winning a free NFL jersey. Pressing subscribe is free. Sending a DM on Instagram is free. And, you know, you have a chance to win a free jersey. I love you guys, and that's all for this one. Deuces.